Good morning. I'm Mark. Brendan's here too.
Morning.
He's logged into Facebook and everything else that we are electronically hooked into in our Up North Live digital studio.
Mm-hmm.
And wherever you are, if you'd like to say hello to us, we'd like to hear from you. We'll talk a bit about the weather here and anything else you want to talk about. What do you want to talk about, Brendan?
Interested in tomorrow's morning newscast. Heather, I was chatting with our other meteorologist, Heather Burka. She's talking about why there's an increase in rabbits across northern Michigan, which you may be thinking, well, yeah, duh. But there's actually a reason behind why a lot of people are seeing more rabbits than usual, I should say.
Okay.
So we'll have that tomorrow morning on 5 News today. So that's
Very
when I was just in the newsroom writing some topical
rabbit
teases, as they're called. So that was what was on my mind.
Fair enough. That's all right.
Probably weren't expecting that answer.
No, I wasn't, but that's good. That's good. You can see how wet it is outside at least at Gaylord. It's not wet like that everywhere, but there are some wet streets and highways. We've had a few showers this morning, and through the day today, we'll get more showers. Not heavy rain like yesterday, but you still might run into a shower. Here's a quiz question for you. When rifle shooters correct their aim and allow for a crosswind, some people call that what? An Elmer aim, as in Elmer Fudd, or a blast forecasting, or Kentucky windage. What do you call that? We'll have the answer. You can, if you want to take a guess, let Brendan know in our digital studio. So widely scattered showers today, lots of clouds. Tomorrow, that's when the clouds break and we get the sun back out. It'll take a little while. I think it starts off as a cloudy morning on Friday, but in the afternoon, the clouds do break. And then over the weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, you're going to love it. Sunshine both days. There's the radar over the past 3 hours. Not the widespread heavy rain we saw yesterday. Some of that widespread rain, you can see that up in the upper part of the picture in Ontario moving away from us. Some folks I had reports of 5, 6, 7 inches of rain in a few places yesterday. It was that hard of a rain for some towns. Nothing like that today. The chance of a thunderstorm today is smaller. It's not zero, but it is smaller than yesterday. So you might hear some thunder. Matter of fact, I think I just saw a lightning strike over Lake Huron. Now, that's moving away from us, but right in there, where was that? I thought I saw a lightning strike in there. Up briefly, if you look carefully, right there. See it right there. I thought I saw one briefly. So it's still possible that lightning could strike from these showers today, but it's much a smaller chance than yesterday. So I wouldn't expect a lot of thunder and lightning, but there are going to be more showers. And so just keep an eye on the radar. If you head out today, it'll be cloudy everywhere. Might catch another shower in your neighborhood. Highs today, 50s and 60s. Tomorrow we start with clouds, and the clouds break. And so we'll see some sun in the afternoon, by afternoon anyway. It might even clear in the morning in the Upper Peninsula. The skies will clear like roughly north to south through the day tomorrow. And then tomorrow evening for any high school football game, it'll be really nice, very comfortable, and a mostly clear sky. We'll see lots of sunshine Saturday and again Sunday. Both Saturday and Sunday temperatures are going to look similar both days. So that looks a lot like what we're expecting on Sunday. Call it an average of 70 degrees both days. Lower humidity, not muggy like today, but a very comfortable weekend coming up. And next week, it's a little cool next week, and we'll get some more showers around next week. Early next week, some 60s for high temperatures. All right, I'll put the quiz question back up if you want to try to answer that. And Brendan will check in with people checking in with us.
All right, good deal. And people are commenting on the rabbit story that's coming up. Heather just walked in. Give a little preview of the story that's going to be airing tomorrow morning on Upper 5 News today. So,
are you teasing that?
Yeah, talking about it. Mark wanted to know what was on my mind, so.
He said rabbits.
That's what was on
rabbits
the mind.
Was on it. That was
in fact, I'll go a little out of order here because weather watcher Alice in Alpena saying at one time that her husband and her had 500 rabbits. They were in the rabbit business. Even though they both worked, they could not keep up with the meat orders. All the Weight Watcher people wanted rabbit meat to eat.
Oh, my goodness.
I read this sometimes as I go. I don't pre-read these, so this all is very surprising to me, Alice. So.
Maybe those were low points.
It sounds like you may have to include Alice's comment there in the story there.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the top here. I don't want Christopher mad at me because he's top of the list. 66 and cloudy in Farmington Hills. Joel said good morning from Pleasanton Patriots Pub. It's 60 degrees, drizzling right now. He's hoping it stops, Mark. He has a concrete pour at 10, sounds like.
Yeah. I can understand why.
James Gibb is saying hello, everybody. And he is saying that he got the question correct today, the weather quiz
Did he?
question.
Okay.
He says.
I believe him.
He says.
I believe him.
And
okay.
who else do we have here? Paul's saying, wants to know if Gibbs in the stream. He is in a way. He's pushing the buttons. And sometimes he says hi from, I think he's in Rogers City. Unless I'm missing a comment. Anyway, we'll get going here with more comments. Alice saying hi from Alpena. And looks like she has maybe a dentist appointment today, if I'm reading that right, Alice. Got Paula reporting 1.61 inches of rain since yesterday. It's cloudy and 58 degrees in Boyne Falls. What was the highest reading, Mark, you had from yesterday?
Well, there were some downpours in Leelanau County, 6 and 7 inches for some folks there. Yeah, that was a lot.
Got Susie Q saying good morning. It's 54 degrees in Frederick. She's heading to Frankenmuth for a car show soon. She's missing out on WW today, it sounds like. Quite the thunderstorm at 3 a.m. in her neck of the woods, I guess, Mark.
Today? Okay.
She just said, yeah, quite the thunderstorm at 3 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah. Susan Radka's watching from Akiak Lake. It's 56 degrees, drizzling where she is. Good day to stay inside and snuggle with the fur babies.
Fair enough.
And Joel says he always has rabbits in his yard. Paul's guessing C. Joel's guessing C. Our friend and coworker Dan saying good morning from a few hundred feet away. I think he's going to be taking over from Gibb. We've had that Governor Whitmer kidnapping plot trial in Antrim County. So we've been streaming that. And it takes somebody back here to run that, the graphics, the audio, things like that. Shannon is guessing C as well. Susie Q is guessing the Elmer Fudd answer here. Mark's guessing C. And Alice had, just going back to the rabbits here, New Zealand Giants, big rabbits, lots of meat, she said. Lots of rain for Susie Q is what she's adding here. Christopher's guessing the Elmer Fudd one. And Susan has a question for you, Mark. Wants to know if you can give a prediction on the hurricane. I'm guessing she's talking about Lee. And her best friend lives on the Florida East Coast.
Lee is going to be about 800 to 900 miles off the Florida coast Monday night. This is a very slow-moving hurricane. And over the next couple of days, it'll move toward this country. But after Monday night, it could turn. And so I'm not sure where it'll go after Monday night. And my computer models only go through the next few days. Monday evening is the last forecast I have. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to head all the way into Florida. It could very well turn. Highly unlikely it'll turn south, but it could very well turn to the north and miss our country and go up along the coastline. But this is a monster hurricane. It's going to be a Category 4, which means gust over 175 miles per hour.
Wow.
Now, that's Monday night. And another thing that bothers me is it's moving very slowly. Now, there's no reason to think it's going to continue to move very slowly. But if it were to move slowly over land, you know what that means. Mm-hmm. You want these things to move fast, get through the area. But if it moves, it's going to go, I'd have to take a look, but it's going to move about, in 4 days, only maybe 1,000 miles, which is not very far for these hurricanes for a several day period. That's not good news. If it were over land, again, I don't know where it's going to go after Monday night, but we need to keep a close eye on this, and we'll talk a lot about it over the weekend, and certainly next week we'll talk a lot about it.
And I know, Mark, there's a lot of dynamics, a lot of things that go into the forecasting and hurricanes in general, but the reason it's moving so slowly, is that giving it more chance to pick up steam and energy and strength?
It's over warmer water, and that's one of the reasons why it's got plenty of time to gather energy. Mm-hmm. It's just sitting over warm water, and the reason why it's moving slowly is there's nothing in the atmosphere to push it or pull it.
Mm.
See, a hurricane's not going to go anywhere if there's not some other feature pushing it or pulling it.
Mm-hmm.
And so winds near the equator go roughly east to west, and there's a little spot that's kind of like a neutral zone. And then roughly, say, south tip of Florida northward, winds go west to east. So you have to picture in your mind, if it's going to drift, it's going to slightly move to the right because of the Coriolis force. It's a lot of information, so it's going to slowly drift to the north as it goes east to west. Hopefully you can picture all this. But if it drifts far enough to the north where it gets caught up in that west to east flow, it'll make that turn that these things often do away from the coastline.
Okay.
So I'm hoping it does that. Obviously, you don't want this anywhere close to our country.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know it's a lot of information. I'm just using with my hands, but I hope you can follow that. So I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic that it won't do any damage, but that's just my optimism. What we need to do is get closer to Monday, and find out what the computers say. They're smarter than I am. It's a very long answer. Hopefully that helps out somebody. But I know people in Florida are watching, not only Florida, but Georgia, the Carolinas, up the eastern seaboard, because this thing could go anywhere after Monday night.
No, I think it's worth spending time on, Mark. Millions of people are along the East Coast, and a lot of interest. People being here in northern Michigan, they may go down south for the winter, things like that. So,
here in northern Michigan, I talk a lot about the hurricanes for that reason, because we have so many people who spend half their year somewhere in the south.
Yeah.
And I think everybody has either a friend or a family member in the southeastern part of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's why we talk so much about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a dangerous, monstrous storm we're talking about.
Yeah.
And anyway.
Thanks for asking that, Susan. Yeah, good question. Rosie's saying good morning to you, and we say it right back to you, Rosie. Jackie's guessing C. Did we already say hi to Jackie?
Say again.
Hi, Jackie.
There you go. Done. Covered.
What else did she? I don't know. Anyway, if you see something, let me know.
Say it again if you want to, a third time.
Let me know, Gib. Where did I leave off here? Christopher had a little bit of thunder yesterday afternoon and early evening in Farmington Hills. Paul is guessing C. Cindy is hoping the rain subsides soon or by afternoon. Beautiful weekend is predicted. So Cindy's listening to you, Mark.
Very good.
And my mom's watching as well. Hey, Mom. What does she have going on in Port Huron? Had so much lightning and rain last night. You know who wasn't happy, Mark?
Benji probably wasn't happy about that.
Benji wasn't very happy. You're exactly right. Pretty nice out now, and Benji and her went for a walk, so glad that storms moved through. William is watching from Manton. Thanks for watching, William. Alice is guessing A.
Okay.
And Susan Radka, how can the models predict what category a hurricane will be?
Well, it's like any other feature in the atmosphere. The computer models take a look at the features, the variables. There are 4 variables in any weather feature: wind speed, direction, pressure change, how much heat, and how much moisture are available. And so all that goes into a computer. And sitting on top of that very warm water, the water, ocean water, has to be at least 80 before the thing can even get started. But in those waters, it's probably mid-80s, and that's very warm, and that's a lot of energy. And so it's not moving very far, very fast. And so it's allowed time to just gather some strength. So it's a little complicated mathematical formula that goes through it. But the key is those 4 variables. What are the measurements that are taken, and then they fed into a computer, and it'll tell you very accurately what kind of system's going to be over the next few days. These are all, this hurricane forecast goes through Monday, which is, let's see, today's Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, essentially 4 days out. And it does a good job with the 4 days, but we have to update it every day for that fourth day, because the fifth day, it's a little iffy. And so we'll know more about it over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly by Monday, we'll have a very good idea where that thing is going.
And Susan says, good explanation, Mark.
Oh, glad you think
Appreciate
so.
that. Yeah. Wallace saying good morning from Mayo. Lois is watching from Adrian, downstate, 66 and foggy. And Wally is guessing B. It just dawned on me, Mark, we have a recording to do before 9. So
We better go.
What's the answer?
You're right. The answer is Kentucky windage. I prefer the Elmer Fudd answer, but
so does Alice, who just commented. Yeah.
right. I like that one, but I made that one up. Rather than adjusting a sight, you adjust the barrel of your gun. That's what that's all about. Allowing for the wind, the crosswind out in the distance if you're firing and I guess it comes from the Kentucky long rifles. That's the only way you could have done that 200 years ago with a long rifle. You just move your barrel a little bit and adjust for that wind. Anyway, that's the answer. And I guess we're done.
Yep.
We better get going and do something else. Something
good.
important. We'll see you tomorrow.